Hello everyone and good day. I am Sir Jules and I welcome you guys back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, we'll be continuing with our chemistry series. Specifically, let's delve into the properties of matter. So, what are the different properties of matter? So, matter has two distinguished properties. We have the physical property and chemical properties. So, what distinguishes between these two types of properties? So, physical properties refers to the intrinsic property of matter, and it can be measured without changing the identity and composition of the materials. Examples are the color, odor, density, melting point, boiling point, and hardness. So let's take here first the mass. So when we say mass, it refers to the quantity of matter. So how much matter is composed within that specific material. So this property of matter can be measured by using a standard balance device. Let's just say we have our weighing scale. So that gives us the mass on how much matter, how much is the quantity of matter stored within that material. So let's have second, the weight. So what's the difference between weight and mass? Mass refers to the amount of matter in a material, while weight refers to the pull of gravity towards that material. So weight is the gravitational pull of the object towards the earth. So mass is fixed, because when we say quantity, it has a fixed quantity of matter. But then weight is dependent from planet to planet. Here on Earth, we have 9.8 meter per second squared gravity. So that is how we compute our weight in here on Earth. But it would be a different case if we'd be in Jupiter, since gravity is greater there, or even at the Sun, where gravity pull is greater there on its surface. So weight can be measured using by computation. For example, we have F equals ma. Force equals to mass times acceleration. Acceleration, which means to gravity. So that is our weight, because weight is a kind of force which has the unit of Newton. Mass is in kilograms, while weight is in Newton. So that's the difference between the two. Take note of that, class. We have here another physical property of matter. We have density or mass density. So it refers to the ratio of mass to the volume of the object. Since nothing is changed when mass and volume are measured, it is a physical property. So basically, class, density refers to how compact an object is. How much volume is occupied per mass of an object. So density has a formula also. It's a rho sign equals to mass over volume. So how much mass is contained in each volume of an object. So that is density, and different materials on Earth has fixed density. It cannot be changed. You can just change the volume, but its density will still be the same, because mass and volume are connected when it comes to matter. So that is density. And we have another types of physical property of matter. We have the intensive property. So this does not depend on the amount of sample. So example, color, taste, texture, density. These are intensive property because, for example, gold as an element. Gold has a specific color of yellow or yellowish, shiny yellow. So that is its property. It cannot be changed, because that's its only definite property and does not depend on the amount of substance. If you had this little amount of gold or you have tons of gold, it won't make any difference. That's still yellow in color. And its density would also be the same, because gold is a heavy type of element, of metal. And we have another type of physical property, which is the extensive property. So it is dependent on the amount of the sample present. So we have here we have mass, we have height, because mass is the quantity of matter in an object. So that is dependent on how much matter is within it. That's why it's dependent on the amount of sample, on how we can measure the physical property of that object. So that is an extensive property. So again, intensive doesn't change with the amount of sample, while extensive can be changed with the amount of sample. And we have here our second property of matter, which is the chemical properties. So, by definition, it is a description of how substance may change or react to form another substance. So just for example, we have combustion. How well a material, a type of matter, combusts or it reacts with oxygen. So combustion, in order to have combustion, you have three prerequisites. You need to have fuel, oxygen, and the heat or the igniter in order for combustion to happen. So in a balanced formula, in a chemical reaction, we have here, let's just take for example our fuel is methane, which is in CH4. So CH4 plus oxygen, O2, equals to, this has a product of carbon dioxide and water plus heat as a product of its process. Heat is produced during combustion process. So combustion refers to its ability to burn in the presence of oxygen, the rapid burning of oxygen. So that is a type of chemical property. Another chemical property is the flammability. So its ability to burn in the presence of air. How well an object will burn. Is it flammable or is it not? So for example, paper, that's a flammable material. It burns rapidly in the presence of air. And we have here another chemical property is the corrosion. So which is the degradation of metals in the presence of air and moisture. So this corrosion is evidently present, which we can visibly see on the surface of metals when it is exposed to air and moisture. For example, it is a metal, let's just take for example copper, is left outside in the pouring rain. So eventually that will corrode, wherein the metal will be degraded because it's been in contact with air, oxygen, and moisture, which is water. So it will cover the metal with those corroded parts. So it degrades the metal. So in order to prevent corrosion, we cover our metals with primer paints to serve as a first layer of protection so that the inner metal will not corrode. Okay? So in summary, properties of matter are divided into two subcategories: the physical property and the chemical property. So physical property refers to the measurement without changing the identity and composition of a substance or a material of matter. So this includes mass, weight, density, color, texture, anything. And when it comes to chemical properties, this now involves properties that changes the property of matter. Let's just say for example flammability, combustibility, corrosion. It will, for example, let's have iron as a metal. If iron exposed to corrosion, that will form iron oxide or the rust. And that will no longer be rust only, but it has iron oxide. No longer iron, but iron oxide. So as you can see, it changes the chemical composition of matter. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you learned something from our video regarding the different properties of matter, on how you differentiate physical and chemical properties. So I hope you learned something from this video, And I hope you'll stay tuned for the upcoming videos regarding chemistry and different science. So thank you all for watching. See you